Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and I'm here today with hopefully a very kind of brief update and just letting you know a few things that are going on and just a bit of a check-in. It's a personal one. So, like I said, I do want to try and keep this brief because I don't want to bog everyone down and there's just, everyone has things that are going on at all times, there's life is ups and life is downs. I'm going through quite a down phase at the moment. I had the realization a couple of weeks ago that my depression is back. Usually I recognize the signs when I'm going into a depressive slump. I can recognize those signs and I can kind of cut it off before it can get too bad, and I'm usually good at being able to pull myself out of those before it gets too severe. Unfortunately this time I kind of almost deluded myself into I'm okay, I'm pushing through, I'm dealing with all of these things that are going on and I'm champing it, and then I suddenly got really emotional a couple of weeks ago out of nowhere, and I was like, I am an emotional person, yes, don't get me wrong. I tear up at things, I get very angry very quickly, I am very emotional as a person, but certainly for crying and being sad, it doesn't just suddenly out of nowhere, I don't just start crying for no sort of apparent reason. And that was when I was like, oh God. I then looked at a few patterns that I had failed to recognize and was like, oh, and it's affecting me in new ways. That's quite scary because I've had a very deep understanding of my depression and my mental health for 15 years now. So to suddenly be in a situation where it's going bad and you don't know how to manage it and you're not sure what to do to improve things because it's presenting differently, it's kind of scary. And I made the decision a week ago to self-refer to a local therapy service. I had my assessment with them yesterday. They've come back and they've said, yes, we do think you could really need the help. Unfortunately, the earliest appointment is in the middle of July, so the next couple of months are gonna be a bit rough and rocky while I try to do the things that I would normally do to boost my mood, but at the same time wait to start my therapy and see if that's gonna help this time. So yeah, that's one of the biggest ones, and things that I've noticed that have really been impacted by that are things like my YouTube. In Australia, I kept saying I was just busy and I didn't have the time to sit down. In reality, I just didn't want to. I did have a bit of burnout, I think, trying to be in a foreign country. I was thinking about getting home and planning, and I kind of overwhelmed myself. And then since I've come back, I have had 3 or 4 pretty major things. Strangely, the biggest one wasn't necessarily the fact that Ren and I obviously broke up, because yes, it's sad, and yes, I miss that relationship and I miss having that person that you can reach out to for everything. I miss that. But when I also look back on it, I realise it was actually the healthiest relationship I think I've ever been in. And Ren helped me so much with my self-confidence and my self-worth that I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I feel actually really optimistic. I'm not spiralling into depression and into self-loathing like I normally would do. But then I decided about a month later, so sort of mid-March time, I was encouraged by a friend to give Hinge a try, which is a dating app. And I thought, do you know what, at least set up a profile, put it out there, see what happens. I did actually make a connection with a guy, and it was one of the only times in my life where I've started talking to someone. It was kind of like the same that happened with Ren, where within sort of 10 minutes of talking to this person, I just knew, you just know. And then unfortunately, after about 3 weeks of talking, that also dropped off very abruptly. And it was just kind of, I think having that kind of, I went back into it far too soon. I thought I was okay. I thought I was great. I was like, oh, let's not be sad and mopey. Let's just get straight back out there, get back on the horse. Yeah, there are times you need to stay away from the horse for a bit. You and the horse need to recover. And your butt needs a reprieve from the saddle, you know? And I didn't do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to go into it. And then having that kind of double rejection back to back, that really did not help. We've also had a couple of family medical emergencies. I did touch on it in a previous video. I'm not going into full details. It's just having a child in the family that's now having health problems and has been in and out of hospital, with my own stuff that's been going on, and things are still just not stabilizing, and you know, it's just a lot of stuff. And I'm finding, like I said, I'm having a reading slump. I'm slowly coming back out of it. I am becoming a bit more consistent with my reading, and I'm finding that I'm wanting to read again. But like most of last month, I barely played on Genshin Impact, and normally I'm on that at least 4 or 5 days a week. I've been doing like 1 or 2 days a week at most on that lately, which is one of the reasons why the depression kind of passed me by, because usually one of my big red flags for depression is doing multiple days in a row where I'm like, you know, having a week or 2 in a row where all I am doing is I'm waking up, playing games, going to bed, waking up, playing games, going to bed, and I fall into that pattern. It becomes obsessive. And usually going hand in hand with that is that I sleep way too much. So it'll be like, you know, I'll sleep for 11, 12 hours, wake up, play a video game for 16 to 18 hours, then go to bed, sleep for 11, 12 hours. And it's a very specific pattern that I get into and have gone into without fail for the last 3 depressive episodes I've had. This time I was having the sleeping issues, only I was going 1-2 nights where I didn't want to sleep at all, and then 1 night where I'd sleep for 13 hours, but no wanting to video game. And I was still productive. I was still like editing videos. I was still doing some housework. But then all of a sudden it was like, you know, in the space of a week, just all of a sudden nothing mattered anymore. I just did not care. So, you know, I've sought out help, and I am now chasing those avenues, and I now have therapy booked. So that's just like, that is the biggest thing. And that's obviously also the worst kind of thing, which I wanted to talk about in terms of, you know, personal life. I just wanted to be like, hey, so not only do I still have the ongoing migraines and the ongoing fainting, dizzy, blacking out spells, I also now have quite intermediate depression. It probably is quite severe. I'm just trying to delude myself into thinking it's not. I know it's not healthy, but that usually does actually help, weirdly, for me. But anyway, so struggling with that, and motivation to do pretty much anything has been, it's a fight. Like, I have to force myself to pick up a book. I have to force myself to do any housework. Today I was like, I need to wash my hair because it had been 9 days. And even then it took so much effort. It took me over an hour to get myself from going, let's go wash our hair, to actually washing it. And that's not normally like me. Normally I'm very much, as soon as I need my hair washing, I'll go up, go do it. And I'm pretty hot on that. So yeah, it's been a rough time. It's been a bit difficult, and I am struggling, but I'm also seeking out the help, and I'm finding things every day to keep me interested. So as soon as I find something that's given me any kind of avenue of joy, like today, it's been 24 degrees and has actually been really lovely. So I was like, I want to go sit out in the sun for 10 minutes and just absorb. And that helped, you know? Like, I'm finding things to do. So that's like the big update, and the really big, like, I just wanted to let you know, because it does mean I have a couple of YouTube and Patreon and things like that updates. Patreon, I launched last year. It did okay. I'm not going to say it didn't do well enough, but you know, the fact that even one person wanted to join was incredible for me. But I was finding that for the last 2-3 months, I have been really just not wanting to go near it. I've been getting more and more guilty for not updating people. I'm getting more and more stressed about not updating the drives and things like that, and sending out rewards. And so I made the decision, in the first week of May, I have decided I am going to close my Patreon. I have said it's not going to be permanently. I'm just going to take a step back. I'm going to have a rethink about what I can offer and what I want to offer people, and also where I'm currently working on my shop, which I'll talk about in a second, you know, I'm thinking about that as well and thinking about how can I bring sort of elements from that in. So yeah, Patreon for now will be going, the book club will stop running for now, and I'm just going to take a step back and have a rethink and come back hopefully by the end of this year, maybe sort of early next year. Just, you know, we'll see how things go. But also in terms of like my reading and YouTube, I have been struggling, I have been slumping. I have got a bunch of videos that I recorded because just before the depression really hit, I had 2-3 days where I filmed about 10 or 11 videos back to back. So I've got a good little folder and backlog of pre-filmed content, but things like, you know, the monthly vlogs that I want to do and the videos that require me to film quite sporadically and like at a certain time, those ones I'm kind of struggling with. So I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna post. I'm just gonna say that at the minute at the end of last year I was aiming for 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then one of the weekend days. I'm probably going to drop that down to 1 or 2 days a week. So there might be some weeks where I do 2. There may even still be weeks where I do 3. If I've got like a lot of stuff I need to get out for a specific time period. But expect to see slightly fewer videos that now. There might just be 1 or 2, and then once I've kind of got my mojo back and I'm feeling more myself, I will build it back up again. It just means that for the foreseeable there's only going to be 1 or 2 a week instead of the usual 3, sometimes even 4. Because even I'm aware that's probably too much, and I probably was not only burning myself out but burning out my viewers because there's like too much to try and catch up on, and I'm trying to make it less overwhelming for everybody. Please be patient, and if there are specific videos of mine that you do enjoy me doing, please do let me know, because I will make sure that they are a video that I prioritize. So if you like my little cozy vlogs, if you like my journaling videos, if you prefer where I sort of do the reading vlogs where it's, you know, I pick a few books and then do activities mixed in with it, let me know about that. Or do you prefer my wrap-up videos? You know, please do let me know what kind of content you prefer that I do. I do want to kind of end on more of a positive, because not everything is doom and gloom. There are some good things that have been going on. One of the biggest ones is that I've started the process of updating my bedroom. If you remember last year, I redecorated my bedroom with the help of Ren, and gradually over this past year I've been filling the walls with posters and pictures and things like that and turning it into like a little cozy nest for myself. But the next phase of that bedroom design was getting rid of all the furniture in there and replacing it with new furniture. The main thing that I have decided is that instead of having like a chest of drawers and like a bedside lamp and things like that, which was the original plan, was just to, you know, just modernize everything a little bit. But I have instead decided I'm buying a small, like a half width size chest of drawers. So instead of chest drawers that say this big, it's only going to be this big, that can fit into my wardrobe. Because really my wardrobe has like 2 sort of bars and 2 halves, and the top bit is where all my clothes are, the bottom bit is just kind of sat empty at the minute. So I was like, I can fill that with a chest of drawers, and then that'll leave me with enough space that I can instead have a desk. And I'm going to turn it into sort of like a bit of a gaming, journaling kind of desk. And so when I do things like live streams and do live shows and things, I can have, you know, the really pretty bedroom backdrop, and I can use it for filming and stuff like that. And I just feel it'll be a much more productive and much more efficient use of that space, rather than just have like, you know, a big chest of drawers that's only half full of clothes, you know? Like, my room does get very, very, very hot. So I am concerned about how I'm going to deal with that in the summer, especially as there's no air conditioning. And my bedroom is approximately 2 to 3 degrees hotter than any other room in this house, because that's just the way it works. It's a tiny little bedroom that's south facing and gets the sun all day. So where every other room in the house, like downstairs, might be say 21 degrees overnight, my bedroom will be 23, 24 overnight, with no air conditioning and no way of cooling it. We shall see how that goes. But it's definitely one for certainly like in the colder months as well. It would be nice to, instead of being down in the really cold room, I can be upstairs where it's a bit warmer. So that phase is starting to go ahead. I got a new mattress last month and some new bedding last month. I should be getting my new bed frame and my desk and some other bits in the next 2-3 months. So my aim is by summer, like sort of by July, August, to have my bedroom complete and ready to go. And then the other sort of, I'd say the biggest good update is on the shop front. I now have rebranded it. It has a new name. a new logo, and that is K-Beth Bookish. I originally was like, shall I keep character sense and then for sort of the other side of things, because I want to design more than just candles now. As I've said in the past, where I do have the migraines, quite often when I make the candles I end up making myself not very well from it. So I wanted to create other things as well, and I've written down various slogans and got various ideas for things like t-shirts, bookmarks. I'm hoping to get invested in a new sewing machine so I can start making some fabric products. And one of the biggest things as well that I want to do is I am looking to make some Adventure-a-thon merch in future rounds and in the future. So again, I can sell all of that on there, as well as the candles and wax melts and things like that. So we have a new logo, K-Beth Bookish. I've gone with this design because I feel like that is very much my colour scheme. I mean, I'm wearing green now, my bedroom is green. It just, everything I tend to go towards nowadays, and in the last like 5 to 10 years, is green. I tried out 3 different colour schemes. I did the black and white that I did with Character Sense, and I was just like, it just didn't feel right. I then tried sort of like browns and creams, and I was like, again, didn't feel right. Then I tried sort of like the pastel colours that I really enjoy, like the pastel blues and pinks. And again, it just didn't work. As soon as I tried it with the green, I was like, this is it. And like the business like slogan is scents and stationery for your favourite fandoms, because it used to be candles and concoctions for your favourite fandoms, but I was like, scents and stationery for your favourite fandoms. I like a little bit of alliteration in there. So yeah, the really great stuff is I'm still motivated to do that. Like, yes, okay, it took me a while to feel motivated to even start it, but now that I've started it, I've been designing, I've got new cards ready to go, business cards that I'm going to get printed in the next couple of months. I've started to plan and prep the candles, like what's the packaging going to look like. I'm still working all of that out, and I'm feeling good about that. I'm starting to design products. I've got a couple of notebook designs, I've got a couple of like sticky pad designs, and now it's just going to be a case of finding places where I can actually get them printed. So if any of you have done those kind of things where you've made mugs or stationery or notebooks, sticky notepads, things like that, if you know any really good printers or where I can look to start getting ideas, please do link those below as well. That's like the biggest like positive and the biggest thing that I am really enjoying at the minute. So yeah, I'm feeling very optimistic. I've started to scout out some local craft stalls and craft events, seeing if maybe I can get in on a few of those by the end of the year. And I know I said originally I was going to reopen in February, and then I changed it to like May, but now I have just decided I'm going to look at long term, and I'm going to set October as my relaunch date so that I can relaunch just in time for like Christmas, Halloween, all of that lot, and I can launch some really cool new ideas that I've got. So yeah, I'm gonna probably check in with some more updates as we go, but I just wanted to, I don't often do these kind of updatey videos. I tend to update in my vlogs and stuff, but this one I did want to do as an actual set. Here's what's kind of, not even everything, I have deliberately left out a few things, otherwise I would be here for an hour, but these are like the absolute biggest major things that have contributed to a bit of a massive hit to my mental health. And while I am struggling, I am still trying to keep motivated, and I'm still finding ways to stay, you know, happy and positive, and still trying to look to the future, and still finding things that I'm actually wanting to do. In the past, that has been an issue for me, is when I get really severely down, I stop caring about things and I just don't see the point in the future. Whereas I'm still currently at the stage of, I had a little blip about a week or about 2 weeks ago, which was again when I realised how bad I'd gotten, where I thought about just getting rid of YouTube and closing. When I decided to close Patreon, I was like, well, do you know what, I've done nothing with my shop, I've done barely anything with YouTube, just stop doing all of it and give up, like what's the point anymore? But as soon as I thought that, I went, oh shit, followed by, that's not happening. And the next day I started designing the logo for the business and was like, yes, I still want to do this, yes, I still have ideas, I'm still motivated to continue. And same with YouTube. I was like, I started looking through all my video planning notes, because I was like, if I go through this notebook and I just go, I don't want to do any of this anymore, then okay, we'll step back, we'll close the channel, we'll be done. But as I was going through, I was getting excited and I started jotting down ideas, and I even came up with a couple more videos, and I was like, well, clearly, yes, this is something I still want to do. So shut up, that voice in my head that's saying we don't want to do it, because we do. But the Patreon, I did definitely go, no, I don't want to be doing this right now, and it's not fair on those that have signed up for it that I'm not giving them what they have paid for. And even for those on the free tier, it's like I'm not putting in the effort that they deserve. So that's why I did make that executive decision. Anyway, hopefully this isn't going to be sort of half an hour long by the time I edit it down. But thank you so much for listening. This is always a safe and open space. If you've got anything that you want to vent or you want to talk about, you are always welcome to get in touch with me. If you don't want to do it publicly on comments, then please do feel free to reach out on Instagram, like, you know, whether it be that something's going on with your health, your pets, your family, whatever. Hopefully I can be someone that you can talk to if you ever need to. But in the meantime, let me know what's some stuff going on with you. But in the meantime, let's try and, you know, think of the positives, and let me know one positive thing that has happened to you recently, or is there any sort of update coming up that you are really excited for? Is there something that you're really looking forward to this year? Please do let me know. Give me something to smile about, and please do let me know so you can, you know, celebrate your wins and we can all have a smile to celebrate with you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you on the next one.